So how do we increase shoulder internal rotation? So internal rotation of the shoulder is this movement of the shoulder joint. Okay, so if you are quite limited in shoulder internal rotation, I'm going to show you how to increase the mobility in that joint. So we have to start with a shoulder car first of all, and then we also finish with a shoulder car too. So if you're not familiar with a shoulder car, I'm just going to run through this very quickly. So what we do is we roll the shoulder back into external rotation first. So you want the palm of the hand face out towards the side. So we're going to irradiate through the rest of the body so everything else is nice and stiff. So what we're going to do is try to keep that external rotation in the shoulder, so the opening of the shoulder joint, as we bring it across to adduction of the body. So try not to bend the elbow. You're going to bring it across as far as you can and sweep the arm up towards your ear without the shoulder blade hiking up. So that's going to stay down in its pocket. We want to try not to rotate through the spine as well. So the only thing that's moving is the arm and shoulder. Okay, so once it's up towards the ear, we're going to twist in the other direction and take the shoulder into internal rotation. Okay, so you're going to rotate away. And as we keep rotating away, we're going to bring our arm all the way back behind us, all the way back so the back of the hand sits next to the hip. So if I show you that from this direction, we've come up to external rotation. I'm going to rotate away, pull that arm in as I bring it all the way back behind me. So my shoulder is now in internal rotation and the palm of my hand, the back of my hand is facing the inside of my hip. So then I'm going to bring it back into shoulder extension. So as far back as I can, where I hit a bit of a roadblock here. So I then have to rotate back into external rotation, pulling my arm in towards the body, up to the ear, and then keep trying to get more rotation as I take it back across the body, just like I did in the beginning, and then back towards the hip. Okay, so all I do is once I get here, I just reverse and bring that arm all the way back to where I came. You want to have a bit of a radiation through that joint. So you don't want to bring it across too sloppy. You want to have a nice bit of a radiation through. So that's your shoulder cars. We're going to open up the shoulder first with a couple of shoulder cars. Once we've done that, we're going to come to a side lying sleeper stretch position for internal rotation. So I normally have a yoga block here to pop under my head, or you can use a cushion. So I'm going to bring my hands together and make sure that my shoulders are stacked one on top of the other. Knees are bent, knees are at about a 90-degree angle. I'm then going to take my bottom arm, bend it and aim my fist in towards my belly button. So my elbow is just shy of my shoulder. So it's not on the same line as my shoulder. I'm just going to slightly bring it down a bit and aim my fist in towards my belly button. And what I'm going to do is stiffen up this arm and just irradiate through the rest of the body. I'm going to use my top hand to bring my arm as far down as it goes without my shoulder blade popping up. You see what I've done here? I want to make sure that my right shoulder blade stays back and down in its pocket throughout this whole exercise. So once we've come into this position, you're going to bring your arm into end range, or your shoulder into end range of internal rotation, and you're going to hold this stretch for 2 minutes. Okay, so don't hold it any less than 2 minutes. You want to just make the nervous system comfortable with you being in this stretch. If you're feeling any kind of pinching pain here at the front of the shoulder, just move the elbow up slightly and take the arm or the hand a little bit further away, and it should feel a little bit more comfortable over here. Otherwise, fist aimed in towards your belly button, relax, and we're going to hold this stretch for 2 minutes. So during that 2 minutes, you're going to take some nice big deep breaths in and out, and just try to relax as much as possible, holding this end range position. So after your 2 minute stretch, we're going to start to add some pressure, some intensity, and add some isometric. So we do what's called a Pails effort and then a rails effort. So these are basically isometric contractions to increase space in that capsular tissue. So what we're going to do first is a Pails contraction. So a Pails contraction is me trying to bring my arm back up in this direction, but this hand isn't going to allow that to happen. Okay, so I'm going to just drive the force up into my top hand, and I'm going to build that up to my greatest effort. Okay, so that's your Pails contraction. So if we slowly build that up, if we start at around a 20% effort, we don't want to have any movement here, it's just an isometric, so we need to stay still and just apply that internal tension. So I'm then going to take it up to about a 40% effort. Then about a 60% effort, keeping your shoulder blade down in its pocket, so don't start to allow that to come up. On that 60%, I'm going to take a big deep breath in, lock that air in my tummy, irradiate, and start my short, sharp chest breaths, okay? So now I'm at a really strong effort of about 60%. If you can take that up any higher, we're going to go to 80%. And then I want you to go to your greatest effort. Once you're there, you're going to hold that for 6 seconds, okay? After your 6 seconds, you're going to release the top hand, so not apply so much pressure on the top hand. And now I want you to pull away from that top hand as if you're trying to get the fist down towards the floor. Okay, so the Pails is driving it up and the rails is pulling it away from that top hand. 6 seconds rails effort as well, going as hard as you can, trying to pull that fist down towards the floor. The shoulder blade is going to want to come up here, so try to keep that back in its pocket and don't allow it to come out. After that 6 seconds, you're going to relax, allow yourself to go a bit deeper into that stretch. I would take a rest of about 30 to 40 seconds. If you feel like you can go for round 2, you're going to go into round 2. I wouldn't hold it for any more than about 6 seconds each if you go at your greatest effort. If you feel like once is enough, just hold that afterwards for 30 to 40 seconds. Just gently move the arm. It is going to feel a little bit tender after doing these. I would always recommend up from 1 to 3 sets, but as time goes on, these will feel harder and harder and get stronger and stronger. So you might find that your greatest effort in about 6 weeks' time is a lot stronger than your greatest effort today. So once you've done that, we're going to just move the arm around, and I would come back up and just lock that new range in with a couple of cars again. Now what we do is after we've done our Pails and rails efforts, we tend to move on to passive range holds to lock in that active range of motion to add some strength into there. But I'm going to add that into a new video. So that will be shoulder internal rotation passive range holds that I'll put in a separate video. But this today is just the Pails and rails to increase that internal rotation range of motion.